Hello and welcome to our channel. We're going to tell you a story. My name is Grace. I'm 34 years old. I drive a cab through the busy streets of a city that never seems to rest. And I'm a mother of 2 daughters and 1 son. That's all people usually see, a woman behind the wheel, trying to earn a living. But no one ever stops to ask what broke her smile. They don't see the sleepless nights. They don't hear the silent cries into a pillow that's too tired to care. They don't feel the weight I carry when I kiss my kids goodnight, pretending everything's okay. But this is my story. A story not of pity, but of resilience. A story of a mother who broke, but never gave up. The life I never chose. I wasn't born poor. In fact, I grew up in a simple but loving home. My parents were teachers. We never had too much, but we always had enough. I dreamed of becoming a nurse. I wanted to help people, to heal the broken. Ironically, I didn't know I'd end up needing healing myself. At 21, I fell in love with a man named Thomas. He was older, calm, and had a voice that made you feel safe, until it didn't. We married quickly. Too quickly. He said he'd take care of me, that I wouldn't have to worry. And for the first few months, it felt like a dream. But dreams fade fast. The storm after the vows. Thomas lost his job 6 months after our first child, Allicia, was born. I was willing to support us. I started working part-time at a hospital reception. But slowly, something in him changed. He started drinking. He stopped caring. And when our second child, Noah, came into this world, things got worse. He never hit me. But sometimes, I wished he had, because emotional wounds are invisible and nobody rushes to fix what they can't see. Words became weapons. Silence became torture. And love? That disappeared somewhere between the shouting and slammed doors. When our youngest, Maya, was born, I knew I had to leave. Not for me, for them. Starting from below zero. I walked out with 3 children and a single suitcase. We moved into a tiny apartment, 1 room, 1 bed. I slept on the floor while the kids cuddled under a blanket too small for 3. I applied for jobs, dozens. But being a mother of 3 with no degree made it nearly impossible. Then one day, I saw an old taxi with a for sale sign. It was scratched, dented, and barely hanging on, kind of like me. I sold the gold earrings my mother gave me on my wedding day and bought that car. That's how it began, Grace, the taxi driver. Chapter 4, The Road That Knows My Pain. Every morning, before sunrise, I quietly wake up. I pack some sandwiches. I leave sticky notes on the fridge for the kids. Allicia, take care of Maya. Noah, don't forget your homework. Mama loves you all more than life. Then I drive. Some passengers smile. Some shout. Some treat me like I don't exist. But I keep going, mile after mile, because each trip means bread on the table. Sometimes, Maya cries on the phone, "Mama, are you coming home?" And I want to scream, "I'm trying, baby. I'm doing my best." But I just say softly, "Soon, sweetheart. Soon." The night I nearly gave up. There was one night I won't forget. It was raining heavily. I had just finished a 14-hour shift. My back ached. My eyes were blurry. I felt dizzy. I pulled over and cried. Not just tears, the kind of cry that makes your soul shake. I had only $4 left after gas and food. Rent was due in 2 days. And Allicia needed new school shoes. I looked up at the sky and whispered. Why, God? Why me? Then I remembered. 3 faces waiting at home. 3 little hearts beating inside mine. So I wiped my tears. And I drove one more trip. A strange passenger. One winter morning, when the air was thick with fog, I picked up a man outside the hospital. He looked tired, maybe older than his age, with kind eyes and hands that trembled slightly. He didn't say much, only gave me an address, a quiet part of town. As we drove, he asked gently, "How long have you been driving a taxi?" 3 years, I replied, glancing at him in the mirror. Had no choice. 3 years is a long time, he said. Do you like it? I smiled weakly. It keeps my children fed. That's enough for me. He nodded, then looked out the window. A long silence followed. As I pulled up to his house, he said something I'll never forget. You look tired, but strong. I lost my wife 10 years ago. She had eyes like yours, sad, but shining. I felt a lump in my throat. I didn't know what to say. Before getting out, he handed me a card. If you ever need help, not money, real help, call me. I slipped it into my glove box, unsure if I'd ever use it. Leah's secret. A few days later, I came home to find Leah, my eldest, waiting near the door with red eyes. She had skipped school. Leah? What's wrong? I asked, worried. She looked down. Mom. I didn't want to tell you. But for the past month, the lunch lady has been giving me food for free. She says I always say I forgot my lunch money. I froze. I always thought I'd been managing. But my daughter had been starving silently, protecting me. I hugged her tightly, my tears falling into her hair. I'm sorry, baby, I whispered. I'm so sorry. That night, I opened my glove box and looked at the card the old man gave me. The call that changed everything. The card had a name, Dr. Henry Wallace. A professor. A retired psychologist. He had scribbled on the back. Sometimes, we all need someone to believe in us. My hands trembled as I dialed. He remembered me instantly. Grace. I was hoping you'd call. We met the next week at a quiet coffee shop. He asked about my life, my dreams, my pain. And I told him everything, for the first time in years. Then he said something crazy. I run a women's program, single mothers, survivors, people like you. We offer training, scholarships. You can be more than a driver. I almost laughed. I don't even have time to sleep. How can I go back to school? He smiled. Because you don't just drive. You fight. And that's the hardest part. Chapter 9, Back to the Beginning. 6 months later, I stood in front of a classroom. A textbook in one hand. A pen in the other. I was a student again, studying to become a nurse, just like I'd dreamed years ago. I still drove the taxi part-time. Still packed lunches. Still left sticky notes. But now, there was light. Leah began smiling more. Noah started helping me around the house. Maya would sit on my lap every night and ask, Mommy, are you happy now? And for the first time I could say, yes. I think I am. The graduation. 2 years passed like pages in a book. I graduated on a cloudy morning with my children sitting in the front row, clapping louder than anyone else. As I walked off the stage, I saw Dr. Wallace in the crowd. He gave me a thumbs up and mouthed, You did it. I had done it. Not just for me. For all of us. We moved into a better apartment. I got a stable job at a small clinic. I donated my old taxi to another mother starting over, just like I had. The letter. One evening, I found a letter on my bed. It was from Leah. Dear Mom. I never told you how much I admire you. You gave up everything to raise us. You smiled when you were braking. You kept driving, even when there was no gas in your soul. You're not just our mother. You're our hero. Love. Leah. I pressed the paper to my chest and cried, but this time, they were tears of joy. Chapter 12, The Message for You. If you're reading this and you're tired. If you feel alone. If you've ever sat in your car and cried, wondering if anyone sees your pain. Know this, you are enough. It doesn't matter if you're a taxi driver, a cleaner, a waitress, or a mother with nothing left to give. You matter. And your pain, your sacrifices, your endless efforts, they are building a life your children will never forget. I was Grace. A name people forgot. But today, I'm Grace, the woman who never gave up. I hope you enjoyed this story. Have you ever experienced? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories and adventures. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.